But I know that a lot of people watch NBC's Meet the Press with Chuck Todd, and I decided to give it a shot. I decided to do my best and suffer through as much of it as I could. It is insufferable. Make no mistake, this guy is a hack. This guy absolutely wants Trump to fail. There's no objectivity to this show. This is not a straight news show. I don't know that any of them are. I really don't know any of them. Any of the Sunday morning shows that are straight news. Down the middle, objective, equally critical of Republicans and Democrats. Those days are so far behind us. Those are gone. They just don't do it anymore. They simply don't. So the theme throughout Meet the Press yesterday, if you saw it, was Trump's to blame for everything. Trump's to blame for coronavirus. Trump's to blame for racism, for riots, for economic crisis. All of it is Donald Trump's fault. That's the message that they want to impart upon their viewers. But there was a really good moment where Chuck Todd was interviewing one of his go-tos, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, who, frankly, I like the way he's governed. I know that he's gotten criticism. All the governors have gotten criticism. But he seems to have a very healthy worldview of how this is supposed to look. In other words, he knows that in a time of a hurricane or bad weather or a disaster or a crisis like coronavirus, people look to the governors of our 50 states. The governors look to the federal government for funding. And according to DeWine, that formula is working perfectly. And Chuck Todd just couldn't believe it. Listen to this exchange between Chuck Todd and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine yesterday morning on NBC's Meet the Press.
Let me ask you a bigger picture question. Do you have confidence in the president and this coronavirus task force right now, given the fact that we're basically right back to square one?
I think people look, frankly, to the governors. Historically, we've looked to governors to deal with crisis, whether it's tornado damage, whether it's a flood, pandemic. We look to governors. And so, what this administration has been able to provide us and the Congress has provided us, and we thank both of them, is the money. We're going to continue to need money for testing. As I look at where we go in Ohio, we have doubled the testing in the last 5 weeks. Frankly, Chuck, we need to double it again. We can only do that with money coming in from the federal government, and it has to be over a long period of time. We're not going to be out of this in a month or 2 months or 3 months.
I understand you say that people look to their governors, but you sort of duck the question here. Do you have confidence in the president and his leadership on this virus right now?
I have confidence in this administration. We're on the phone call every week, every governor, Democrats and Republicans, sometimes twice a week, with the vice president. The vice president has been doing an absolutely phenomenal job in leading that. And, of course, the president has delegated that to the vice president. Anytime I've asked, look, we need something. We need to try to get more reagents. We need to get the FDA moving. Every single time I've asked the president or I've asked the vice president, they've come through. Right. So, getting into a discussion and trying to figure out, okay, is it the president or whatever it is, this is not about politics. This is frankly about getting the job done every single day. And all the governors are out there fighting to get it done.
Well, but you have to launch an ad campaign to convince people to wear a mask. If the president of the United States said wear a mask, would you need to run that ad campaign?
Well, he wore a mask this past week, so we were very, very thankful for that and very happy that he wore a mask and said that people should wear masks. So, look, it's no different than anything else. In this country, we're not used to wearing masks. Fran and I were on a trade mission to Japan a few months ago, and a lot of people wore masks. It's more of the culture. In this country, we don't have the culture to do that, and so what we have to do is so people understand it's not just about them. That when they walk into a store, it's important for them to wear that mask for somebody else. And that's why we run the ads. That's why and they're all Ohioans talking to other Ohioans and saying, look, we got to do this together. And Ohioans have done well, but people are getting weary. across this country. People are weary about staying home. They want to get out, and I understand that. Our message is you can get out, you can participate in the economy, but please be careful. Don't do things that are just don't make any sense. And that's the message that we keep trying to bring across to the people of Ohio.
I liked what Governor DeWine said. What do you make of that exchange? Because first of all, it's obvious that Chuck Todd is all about orange man bad, let's take down Trump. Trump's the bad guy here. And Mike DeWine wasn't going to have anything to do with that. But to me, his answers made sense. Listen, I know, and we're not going to have the millionth argument about mask wearing, but the reason this is important is because everything hinges on coronavirus, in my view. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Everything, and when Mike DeWine says the virus isn't political, it's not. There's a lot of politics being played as a result of coronavirus, but there is nothing political about who gets sick and who doesn't. There's nothing political about hospitalizations, ICU rates, whether they're up or down, whether death rates are up or down. There are a number of states where the numbers are going in the wrong direction. All of us should be able to agree on that. I think all of us should be able to agree that we better get this thing under control. And if there's a role we can play, we should. Governor DeWine is right. Play your part. Don't be stupid. Don't have a gathering of 25 people. Don't march around like this virus isn't here. And I don't think that's an unreasonable observation on my part. Let's not have the government mandating mask wearing. Let's wear masks because we're wise enough to see the research and see the data and know that it can definitely help. And we've got to do everything we can do to get this thing under control. Everything hinges on it. The economy, the mental health of America, the election. Everything hinges on coronavirus. And I have to tell you, I've got some good friends, dear friends, people I respect who say, this is all politics. It's not that bad. That's a dumb response to this thing. And these are good people, by the way. These are friends of mine. But listen, that's like suggesting this whole thing is fabricated. They're pulling refrigerated trucks up into Houston and Texas and South Texas again. They've got refrigerated morgue trucks ready to go in Arizona again. They're not doing that just for show. It's not all a hoax. It's not all politics. I get that we're weary and we're conflicted and we're cranky. But please stop pretending that none of this is real and it's all fabricated, like the lunar landing, which this is the anniversary, by the way, of Neil Armstrong's first trip to the moon. It's as if, this happened in a desert in Arizona somewhere, and John Kennedy is alive with Elvis out on the. I'm sorry, I can recognize the skepticism, and we should be skeptical. I'm not telling you to just lock, stop, barrel, accept everything they're saying. I get it. Don't pretend there's nothing there to coronavirus. That's a mistake. That's a big mistake.